Okay, let's go ahead and get started there, everybody. Welcome back to another, uh, well, late 1 p.m. PST YouTube stream. I'm your host, Strangebeard Jim, and today, uh, we're probably gonna have a pretty jam-packed day today. Um, we're gonna be doing some Pega certification study, like we normally do, within the next couple of minutes. We have, um, most likely a Unreal stream after this, which, or at least I believe so. I haven't gotten any word otherwise from Blackheart, so going to be aiming for the Unreal Engine tutorials, studying, and all that in the hour afterwards at 2 p.m. We got some videos to upload or make public to everybody. Schedule them for um, being released to everybody. So we're going to be tackling that around the 3 p.m. time mark, and then of course later on tonight we got Genshin Impact, which will probably go well into the evening. So there's a lot to cover there. Um, and, you know, it feels like Blackheart and I are just basically, scratching the surface for everything. Now, I do know that Blackheart has kind of went a little bit further ahead on the storyline for Genshin Impact, but that's okay. Um, we're still probably going to be tackling the same monsters for the time being. I mean, unless he keeps on doing that, then he'll definitely be way ahead of me. But I mean, that's his prerogative. I'm not going to say, hey, Blackheart, stop grinning ahead of me, damn it. Nah. If he wants to do that, he's welcome to do that, of course. That's you know, no worries there. It's just I'm gonna have a harder time trying to keep up with him, if that's the case. Okay. Now, maybe you're just here for these Pega videos, which is perfectly understandable, perfectly reasonable. If you want to check out those other videos, then or the other streams or whatever, you can come on by these live streams if you want to, or you can check out the other playlists that I have on my channel. So that's available if you want. But maybe you're just here for the Pega, which, again, believe me, I understand. Um, maybe this is your first time seeing this particular video, which let me explain who I am, what these videos are all about, and uh, what I'm basically going to be doing for these. So I'm currently an out of work, you know, unemployed software developer whose last job was working with the Pega environment. Um, the the contractor, the the contractor employer, you know, that I worked with, gave us an authorized training partner for us to try to teach us how to learn what is Pega. And so we were basically instructed that we had to get our certifications at the end. Well, problem was that, most of us didn't really have a great experience with the authorized training partner, and the majority of us went, full self-study. Now, you know, some, I mean, pretty much everybody in the team had gotten their certification, but some of them had just barely gotten it, like, right on the dot of passing in some cases, and that doesn't really bode well. Um, a lot of us just went full self-study because, well, we were having a hard time with the instructor, and it wasn't just us. the person's coworkers were also, having some difficulty with him as well. I mean, they knew the problems that we were having, but they needed us out there doing contract work. So we were basically pushed out the door. We, you know, I and a couple of my other peers asked to be put back into another training session with a different Pega instructor to learn properly what Pega was all about, but that never happened. So when they forced me to take the certification, I knew that I wasn't ready. I explained to them that I wasn't ready, but they needed me to take it anyway. So I took it. I failed it. I knew that I was going to fail it. And, even though, hey, if I had gotten 6 more questions right, I could have gotten that bare minimum as well. But, you know, um, that wasn't. That's not something to aim for there, folks, obviously. So that's who I am. Now, if you're coming into these videos expecting that I am some kind of authorized training partner and this is some kind of instructor-led training, then no. Don't think of it as such. Okay. I'm trying to work towards getting that certification, um, because I need it. If I want to get another job in the Pega, in the Pega community, then I'm going to need that certification to get another job. Um, Trying to find a job, with my current qualifications doesn't work. You know, the fact that, I apply for jobs that are, uh, with C, Java, Cold Fusion, um, it's just, I don't know. There's not enough there, I guess, for some people to accept. Um, so you know, I typically get rejection letters for the most part. But, I gotta move on. I gotta keep on, you know, walking towards that goal. So, because that's what I want to do. So, this is not endorsed by Pega whatsoever. This is my own process of trying to work towards getting my certification. Okay, so, I'm not getting any kind of special treatment from Pega or anything along those lines. I'm not getting like some kind of um, voucher or anything along those lines. Okay, this is me trying to make up for my past mistake of not continuing to study for the certification past that initial training station, the initial training stage. Okay, that's my fault that I didn't continue with that. I really wish that there was a mentor that I could have had to kind of help me with that even more, but it is what it is. Um, we have to proceed onwards. So, um, now, if you're coming into these videos for the first time as well, and your aim is for the business architect, then I would recommend that you basically stop this video and go back to my playlist. I've already covered the 2 missions and the 2 modules for the Pega Platform 8.7. Okay. Now I know that there's also the 8.8 and 23 that's come out. Okay. The reason why I'm doing the 8.7 is the multiple languages, because there might be people across the world that might want these particular videos in some fashion or another. I mean, I have had some people from on the other side of the world, subscribing to this channel probably because of these Pega videos. So, um, and obviously not everybody's going to be able to speak English. So, just So that's the reason why I picked the 8.7 was the different languages. So if 8.8 had the other languages, I would have picked that. Okay. So if you're coming in to these videos and you're trying to study for 23 or the 8.8, then I mean, there's obviously going to be some changes, but for the most part, it's probably going to be fairly similar for the most part. Um, so, and I hope that, the suggestions that I offered to them were taken seriously and, changed, in the later versions, but I don't know. Um, if you are going for the business architect, then I would recommend that, these last two modules were about the Pega Express, so I would recommend that you do the Pega Express delivery mission to get a better understanding than what these two modules provides, because these two modules are not enough, in my particular opinion, to cover everything that you need to know about Pega Express delivery to get the 12% needed for the certification. So that's what I would do. If I were you working towards a business architect, you know, go with the Pega Express delivery. I have not covered that. I'm probably not going to cover it, to be honest, because business architect is not something that I really want to do. I may take it just to have the certification, but to be honest, it's not something that I want to do. Okay. I'll do it if I absolutely have to, but my main focus is trying to get this system architect certification. So we're going to continue working on that. Um, Last we left off was in the module customizing the appearance of a form. We did the information and user interface, so that's already been covered. Okay. But I have not covered the repeating layouts. So let's go ahead and get started on that. We got about 30 minutes to go through this, so let's get started. So, repeating layouts are a type of layout used to organize lists, tables, and other repeating structures. This type of content can repeat an arbitrary number of times. Repeating layouts provides a structure for ensuring that the display presents the content elements consistently. So, you have a repeating layout with content, 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 and you can basically, take that, put it into another spot as well, or put it onto a different page or a different view or something along those lines. So there are different types of repeating layouts that support different use cases. A table layout is useful when you want to present tabular data in a series of columns and rows. Generally, you do not want to use a table layout to present images. Most likely not, but sometimes you still need to do it anyway. A repeating dynamic layout is useful when you want to group or present content in a non-linear, more static format. That's pretty much, like, hey, if you want to have, present, images in a layout like that, in a table, then, that's kind of a good way of going about doing that. But, we move on. For example, in a bookcasing type, customers are presented with a list of rooms that are available to reserve. Drag the slider on the following image to see the listings displayed on a table layout or non-linearly with a repeating dynamic layout. Okay, so you have the table layout where you have the listing name, the address, the price per night, the maximum number of guests, the description, the map, and hey, you can book this listing. Hey, guess what? The map has an image to it. So, eh, you know, um, you know, or you have this one where you have more the map on the side kind of thing. Now this one seems to be a little bit more. Well, I mean, this one can give you lots of information fairly quickly. Now, um, to be honest, they probably could have like reduced down the column size or the row size, cut down the description a bit, you know, um, so that if a person wants to read the description, they can probably like look click on it and look at it more or something along those lines, just to kind of allow for a more compacted information. That's what I would do with a table layout. You probably want to have as much information presented as you can to the customer. The customer would appreciate that. Um, and if they need to look at the map and stuff like that, they can click on that for more for a larger viewing area. Like what's a problem with these maps here is the fact that the hotels aren't centered. They should be centered in mid-map. What the heck is going on with these maps? You know, this is something you know, I would look back on going, hey guys, the hotel is not centered in the map. You know, let's fix that. You know, that's what I would do. But I mean, it's kind of nice that you have very condensed information there as well. So, but we move on. Okay, responsive behavior of repeating layouts. Table layout exhibit limited responsive capabilities. For example, the presentation of tabular data in a table layout can adjust based on column importance. Columns with lower designated importance are hidden on smaller screens. Repeating dynamic layouts have the same responsive capabilities of a dynamic layout. In the following booking case type example, when the room's listings are viewed on a mobile device, the listing description and map move to accommodate a smaller screen size. Drag the slider on the following image to see the listings displayed on the desktop and the mobile device. So once again, you have the desktop display, and then of course, you move it on over, and here's your more mobile display, which they're basically saying, hey, cut out both of those and just leave the more important information or something like that. So you don't necessarily need those columns if you don't want them. So check your knowledge with the following interactions. So what's the purpose of repeating layouts? Repeating layouts organize information in repeating structures such as lists and tables. Not necessarily, no. Repeating layouts are specialized to organize information in a linear format. Not necessarily, no. Repeating layouts organize non-tabular information and shift content as device size changes. Repeating layouts facilitate the reuse of content defined elsewhere in the case. I mean, a lot of this is I feel like they're using words that wait, what's this all about? Okay, I didn't really care about that, but um um a lot of this seems like very close to you know, what you stated above, but obviously there's some keywords in there that, aren't that shouldn't necessarily work. Um, so like, hey, repeating layouts, you can use tables to do, but lists, you know, not, um, you know, organized information, sure. In repeating structures, again, they mentioned the fact that there's some um, what's the um, non-linear, more static format. So it's like, that's not necessarily repeating structures per se. So, so that's why I'm like, maybe not that. Repeating layouts are specialized to organize information in linear format. Um, I mean, didn't I just say that, we had some that were in nonlinear? Yeah. So, so that doesn't really work. Um, Repeating layouts organize non-tabular information and shift content as device size changes. Um, I mean, I guess, that might be the probably the best one out of the bunch. Um, Even though this one is, does say that, it uses tables, which, repeating layouts does use, but, repeating structures, repeating layouts facilitate the reuse of content defined elsewhere in the case. It's like, um, maybe it's the first time use of the content that you'll then reuse that layout later in the case. So it might not be, you might be using it for the first time. So it's like, you're basically saying that, the repeating layouts can only be used after you already stated the information first. So that's why I'm like, probably not that answer either. So I'm gonna go with three. But, again, I'm not 100% sure. So, okay, so they're saying no on that. Um, Dynamic layouts organize non-tabular information. Additionally, dynamic layouts supports responsive behavior. Okay, did you guys even talk about dynamic? Okay. What's I mean, repeating layouts includes repeating dynamic layouts. So what? Um, okay. Um, Alright, let's send this one in because it's like, wait, um, I'm sorry. Um, a repeating dynamic layout is still a repeating layout. What are you talking about here? So, um, Repeating dynamic layouts have the same responsive capabilities of a dynamic layout. In the following booking case type example, when the room listings are viewed on the mobile device, the listing description and map move to accommodate a smaller screen size. So I mean, you have, yeah. A repeating dynamic layout, which is a repeating layout, has the same capabilities as a regular dynamic layout. So why is the answer wrong again? Um, um, I was a bit concerned with the other answers because it felt like I was seeing answers with one of the two parts of the answer being incorrect. For example, repeating structures, which included lists, but repeating layouts can be non-linear. So, I don't know. I feel like this question might need a review and update. Okay, so if it's not that one, so if it's not, if it's not this one, then I doubt that it's that one. Because it's like, why? You know, this doesn't feel correct. Repeating layouts are, you know, and in the sense that, you know, it's like they're saying facilitate the reuse, meaning the content has been used prior. why? Why, why, this right here, reuse of content, the wording there implies that, the information has already been presented prior. Then what's the point of having a repeat layout in that regard? Use the repeating layout for that purpose of being something that will show the content, first and every other single time after the fact. Hence, repeating. So that's why I'm really saying that this one, I doubt that it's this one. Okay, repeating layouts are specialized to organize information in a linear format. We can't pick this one because, again, they're stating that it's specialized to organize information in a linear format. We already know that, based off of here, repeating dynamic layout is useful when you want to group or present content in a non-linear format. So we already know that that shouldn't be true, but you know, it might be the right answer that they're looking for, because apparently they're trying to separate out repeating layouts from repeating dynamic layouts, even though it's still repeating layouts. It's like, what are you doing? So, you know, maybe it is this one, because repeating layouts organize information in repeating structures such as lists and tables. I mean, it's like, no, you don't need to have it in repeating structures. Again, it can be nonlinear. So, hmm, um, okay, let me try this one. Okay, hold on. Um, repeating structures. Okay, well, we have repeating structure here, right? So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Repeating layouts have a type of layout used to organize lists, tables, and other repeating structures. Okay. That was the very first line. Okay. But I mean, you can do it. You can use repeating layouts for other things than just organizing structures, though. I don't know. Especially seeing that you have, you know, things that are like, non-linear, more aesthetic formats. That's not necessarily a structure, So that's why I'm having a hard time with this. They're kind of it feels like they're kind of competing with each other here, you know. Um like, they're saying, "Hey, this is one truth and this is the other truth, but these don't really work well with each other." These are basically two like opposing truths. Like, you know, one doesn't really work well with the other. So that's why I'm like, I don't know. Um, maybe I'm just thinking too much into this or something like that. I mean, feel free to, state, comment, or, let me know what you feel as well on this. Um, I don't, this doesn't feel, I mean, if you agree with them, then, I mean, feel free to put that in the comments as well. I don't mind. Um, but I don't know. I just feel like they're, um, you know, it's, you can use repeating layouts without necessarily needing to have them in list tables or repeating structures, just based off of this. You know, this doesn't necessarily look like a list here or a table, as like a standard table. It doesn't really look like that. You get what I'm saying? I don't know if it's coming across as well as I wanted it to, but um, so I don't know. Like I said, I feel like this question would probably need to be relooked at. I feel. All right, well, that's going to be it for this session of Pega. Wasn't able to get through it as fast as I kind of wanted it to. Um, so we'll have to hold off on the next two topics for next time. We're going to be moving on to the Unreal. Um, we're going to be moving on to the Unreal study session in just a minute. I'm going to go ahead and switch on over the scene collection to the Unreal study session, and then we're going to get started on that. Like I said, by all intents and purposes, I believe everything is kind of working on, or, I don't, Blackheart hasn't told me that he can't make it, um, so I'm going to assume that he's going to be showing up in the next couple minutes. But we're going to go ahead and switch on over for that in just a minute. So for those of you that are watching these videos, I want to thank you for that. Keep on watching. Help me out with the YouTube algorithm. That would be fantastic. Check the description for other links. To like my social media, um, links to help me out directly, such as Patreon, and Throne, for example, and then of course my stream team. So check that out if you want. But that's it. That's where we're gonna go ahead and end our Pega session. So thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. Hope I catch you next time. But until then, take care. Have a good night. Stay healthy, safe, and I'll catch you strangers next time.